You're watching South Asia Newsline and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 23rd of January. India shines as global bright spot at World Economic Forum 2026. Trump unveils Gaza Board of Peace at Davos, India skips. And Bangladesh parties kicks off campaigns ahead of elections. And now for all the details. As geopolitical uncertainty clouds the global economic outlook, India has emerged as a bright spot at the World Economic Forum 2026 in Davos, drawing strong investor interest, forging key partnerships and reinforcing its position as a global growth hub. We have a report.
From boardrooms to bilateral meetings, India's presence at Davos this year has been marked by confidence, scale and ambition. Leading industrialists, policymakers and state governments showcased what many global leaders now see as a resilient and opportunity-rich India. Chairman of Bharti Enterprises Rajan Bharti Mittal noted that while geopolitics remains uncertain, India's growth story remains firmly intact.
No, I think, last 2.5 days that I've interacted with corporate leaders, political leaders, I think the takeaway from Davos still, my view remains one, geopolitics is a little uncertain. That has weighed a lot on mind of the European leaders, especially on corporate leaders. That is something that I would say is one take. The other is India's story is intact. People's interest, corporate interest in India is very much alive. In fact, India remains the bright spot. 7% growth. Newer areas are opening up. So I think that are the two things that I would take in account as happened.
Meanwhile, Indian states made an unprecedented collective impact. Gujarat Deputy Chief Minister and Industry Minister Harsh Sanghvi said India arrived at Davos with its largest and strongest delegation yet, with 10 states actively pitching investment opportunities. Gujarat alone held 58 meetings with global industry leaders, reflecting rising interest in India's transparent policies, skilled workforce and competitive manufacturing environment.
Yes, we are in Davos for the first time. Since last 3 days, we have done 58 meetings with global leaders in different sectors, and we have got very good response. And this time, you can see a different flavor of India in Davos. You have seen many countries' pavilion, but Indian pavilion is having a different flavor. Since morning 7 o'clock, you can see queues of industries waiting outside different states' lounge. This is achievement, and this is new India.
At World Economic Forum, amid global uncertainty and shifting power equations, India made sure that its growth story is resilient, its ambitions global, and its moment firmly in the spotlight.
US President Donald Trump on Thursday unveiled his much-anticipated Board of Peace for Gaza at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Addressing global leaders in Davos, President Trump said the Board of Peace would ensure that Gaza is demilitarized and beautifully rebuilt following the ceasefire. Pakistan and the United Arab Emirates were among the countries that have accepted Trump's invitation, along with several other South Asian, Southeast Asian, Gulf and European countries. The president outlining his ambitious plan to oversee the territory's post-war transition, key allies including India stayed away from the launch. India, despite being invited, was absent from the event. Sources familiar with the matter said New Delhi is yet to take a final call on joining the boat. Several other US allies, including France, the United Kingdom and other European countries, have declined to participate for now, while countries such as China, Germany, Russia, Italy and the European Union's executive arm remain non-committal. The proposed Board of Peace is expected to oversee Gaza's post-war governance as the ceasefire moves into its second phase. NASA astronaut Sunita Williams, during her visit to the Kerala Literature Festival in the southern Indian state of Kerala, expressed optimism about India's space program on Thursday. Praising India, Williams said that the country is on its course to make strong progress in space explorations, steadily turning ideas into reality. The Indian origin astronaut further added that she was excited about India's growing role in the global space sector and said that the country is becoming more involved internationally and strengthening its own capabilities. India's space story has captured the world's imagination, especially after the historic Chandrayaan-3 lunar landing and the launch of the Aditya L1 mission to study the sun. Now the spotlight is firmly on the country's growing private space sector, seen as a vital driver in turning India's ambition of a $44 billion space economy into reality.
What a great way to contrast and compare. I'm excited for Indian space program because I think just like the topic we were just talking about, any ideas are becoming reality, and I think as they get more and more involved internationally as well as with their own program, standing on their own 2 feet, they're going to go to space before too long.
Main political parties in Bangladesh have officially kicked off their election campaigns as the country heads into national polls scheduled for February 12. The election is being closely watched as a key test for democracy under the interim government led by Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus, following months of deadly unrest that led to the ouster of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. A report.
Main political parties in Bangladesh have started official election campaigns on Thursday as national polls approach in 3 weeks. National elections in the South Asian nation are scheduled to be held on February 12. Bangladesh Nationalist Party chief and son of deceased former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia, Tariq Rahman opened his campaign in the northeastern district of Sylhet, holding roadshows across the tea-growing region. The youth-led National Citizen Party, on the other hand, opened its campaign in Dhaka with a march to the tomb of Sharif Usman Hadi, Bangladeshi student leader and activist recently killed in Dhaka. Supporters were seen carrying posters and the party emblem.
এই সবগুলার মূল কারণ হলো ইনসাফ না থাকা। ইনসাফ যদি থাকতো তাহলে সমাজে দুর্নীতিবাজরা, লুটেরারা, ডাকাতরা ব্যাংক ডাকাতি করে জনগণের সম্পদ লুটপাট করে এই দেশ থেকে নিরাপদে পালানোর সুযোগ পেত না।
Meanwhile, heavy security was in place at the Islamist party Jamaat-e-Islami's campaign in the capital, where thousands gathered to hear party leader Shafiqur Rahman address the public.
উভয় জোটের জন্য একই রকম আচরণ বিধি থাকতে হবে, কোনো ধরনের বৈষম্য মেনে নেওয়া হবে না।
The election in Bangladesh is being closely watched as an important test for democracy after the Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus assumed power as the interim government head in August, following a long period of unrest that ousted former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and left nearly 1,400 people dead.
Moving on, India has once again reaffirmed its commitment to humanitarian assistance by sending 7.5 tons of life-saving cancer medicines to Afghanistan. Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said in a post on X that India had delivered 7.5 tons of cancer medicines to help meet the immediate needs of Afghan cancer patients. He added that India remains committed to supporting the friendly people of Afghanistan during times of need. In November 2025, India delivered 73 tons of life-saving medicines, vaccines and essential supplements to Kabul to extend Afghanistan's healthcare efforts. Healthcare cooperation between the two countries has also featured prominently at the diplomatic level. In October 2025, following a powerful earthquake in eastern Afghanistan that claimed over 800 lives and injured thousands, New Delhi sent humanitarian aid to support relief and rehabilitation efforts. The latest assistance builds on India's humanitarian outreach to the landlocked nation. India has also extended emergency assistance in response to natural disasters. As people across India celebrated Basant Panchami on Friday, devotion and tradition took center stage with prayers to Goddess Saraswati, symbolizing the arrival of spring and the pursuit of knowledge. Take a look.
Scores of people on Friday prayed to Goddess Saraswati and took a holy dip at Saryu Ghat in the historic city of Ayodhya amid the chilly weather and performed worship and prayers on the occasion of Basant Panchami. While Holi festival begins with Basant Panchami celebrations in Vrindavan, where devotees played with colors and visited temples.
बसंत पंचमी की नहान है, हम लोग आए हैं, बहुत श्रद्धा था हम लोग के आने के लिए, हम लोग आए, गंगा मैया पूरा कर दी। नहा लिया आप लोगों ने? हाँ, नहा लिए और पूजा भी कर लिए और गंगा मैया की आरती भी कर ली। मौसम भी कैसा है? ठंड का? मौसम तो बहुत ठंडा है, गंगा मैया शक्ति दी है, हिम्मत दी है, श्रद्धा है तो ठंडी क्या चीज है हम लोग।
Meanwhile, Hindu devotees, led by ash-smeared ascetics and seers, converged at the confluence of rivers Ganga, Yamuna, and mythical Sarasvati, also called the Triveni Sangam, Prayagraj city, to take a dip in the holy waters on the occasion of Basant Panchami during the Math Mela, a 45-day annual Hindu pilgrimage, centering around the holy Triveni Sangam. Devout Hindus believe taking a dip at the Sangam or the confluence absolves them of sins.
That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.